It is Saturday, July the 10th, and it's time for another Total Garden Overview. Okay, so let's take a look here. Let's kind of maybe circumnavigate the tomatoes just a little bit, so I can show you what's going on here. Long shadows, it's about 7 p.m. So the tomatoes are just doing great. I've had, like, that one's topped out of the cage. This one here has also grown out the top of the cage. So that's 2. Number 3 up there has just gotten to the top of the cage. So I got 3 out of 6 at the top of the cage. And I just want you to look at this one particular one right here. This is actually the shortest tomato. Hi there, Carly. Yep. Oh, we're gonna do a little digging. Yep. Dig. Gee, I wonder what comes next. Oh, well, I don't think we need to see that. Anyhow, just take a look at this tomato right here. I think I may have to stick some, I'm in the light, of course, may have to stick some sticks through here or something to hold up the clusters of tomatoes, because I don't know how many of them you can actually see here, but this thing, I mean, it's just absolutely hanging thick with tomatoes. Now, I never have seen, these are early girl tomatoes, and I never have in my whole life, still can't really appreciate how many tomatoes is in here. It's just unreal how many tomatoes is on this one plant. There must be 100 tomatoes on this one plant, and I don't think I'm exaggerating. I mean, there is really a lot of tomatoes. I can't just really do it justice how many tomatoes is actually on this one plant. That's okay, Carly, I'm not gonna disturb you. Carry on with your business. I've not had any red tomatoes yet. Sometime this month I'll get some red tomatoes. I just don't know exactly when, but it'll be sometime this month. But anyway, this early girl here has tons of tomatoes. I think I did a close-up of one cluster here last time, and we'll show this same cluster. Here's what this cluster of tomatoes looked like 2 weeks ago. And here's what this same cluster looks like today. So, yeah, not huge, but they're getting there. This is an early girl tomato, so they don't really get all that huge. I think this is also an early girl, and this is probably my biggest tomato right here. It doesn't have a blush of red on it yet, but sometime this month. I always get them usually before the 1st of August anyway. Okay. So, and no blight or anything yet on the tomatoes, so I'm just doing fantastically on that front, and I continue to, you know, do the same things I've been doing, which is mainly I'm not, you know, overwatering them, and I'm keeping the weeds just totally gone here, so I don't think there's too many blight spores lurking about here in this bone dry soil there. Okay, pepper plants. They're looking really good. I've eaten quite a few of the banana pepper. They finally did get to where they didn't taste green, but you can see, of course, there's just a lot of banana peppers in there. This was a Golden California Wonder sweet bell pepper. And I had one plant here, right here, one of these 4, that the top part of it just started dying out. So I cut it all the way back, all the dead and dying leaves, and it started growing again. I don't know exactly what happened to it, but something happened to it. But as you can see, I've got just a few. Most of the peppers aren't too big, but I have got one. Okay. Now that, friends, is a big bell pepper right there for this time of year. Anyway, good sized bell pepper. And there's another one right over there, which I might have to do a little something to that. Sometimes they'll grow right in the forks of the branches, and if you don't pick them, they'll cause the plant to split or something. They'll get so doggone big. But anyway, the bell peppers are doing good. Those are the two outlier bells because most of them are more this size right here, like these two. Take a look at these Cubanelles. I've not really tried these again yet, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this one right here. That is one gnarly son of a gun there. But I mean, these things are just, you would not believe how many Cubanelles are on here. They almost sound like a cigar, type of cigar, don't they? A Cubanelle. But anyhow, let's cut this one and see how it tastes. Come on, focus. Right there. All right, now that, friends, is a large Cubanelle pepper. I mean, I'm not that familiar with Cubanelle peppers, but that sucker's large. That's just all there are to it. It's huge. Hopefully it doesn't taste green, which I don't think it should. I mean, you would think that would be plenty mature enough to eat. Okay, moving on down here, I've not ate any of these pizza peppers yet, which are simply a early maturing jalapeno, but these things are just gorgeous. They're bigger, much bigger than a jalapeno, and actually much smoother than a jalapeno. For some reason, I've only got one plant of it. We'll see if they'll set me on fire when I do eat them. They probably will. Okay, moving on, we got some California Wonder sweet bell pepper. This is kind of representative of a few of them there. Some Red Beauty bell peppers. You know, this is the biggest one of them so far. So that'll be a late fall thing, sure enough. That pretty much is the peppers. The squash is getting a little bit long in the tooth. I've eaten probably a dozen messes of squash, I suppose. I showed the video last year how I was oven frying the squash, so that's how I've been doing again this year is oven frying them. And I've already picked them today, but as you can see, there's a few little squash there. There's a Mexican bean larva on one right there, and it's probably made, you see this little blemish right there? That was probably made by this Mexican bean larva, I would imagine. Evil. This is what the second crop of cucumbers looked like 2 weeks ago, and this is what they look like today. So as you can see, they have really started to do good. I've only got a couple of cucumbers off of this batch so far, but they'll be producing just tons of them. And they're 3 weeks behind this crop of cucumbers, which as you can see is already starting to kind of dry up a little bit. They didn't climb up my fence nearly as far as I thought they would. Most of the cucumber production has just been on the ground right here and not so much on the fence, but nevertheless I still like planting them here on this fence. It just seems like a good place for them. For one thing, it kind of gives me a set amount to plant where I don't plant too many of them. And another good thing about planting them on the fence, you can keep up with how to water them a whole lot better because you know that they're planted within like a foot of the fence, so you know exactly where to water. And here's something a little bit interesting here. Not that it's going to amount to anything, but here in my cucumbers, this must have come up from my compost, I'm sure. There is a cantaloupe right there, but I'm going to leave it and see, but I seriously doubt if it'll be edible. And by the way, the wild strawberries that I fooled with a little here earlier, they're already right there in the middle of the compost pile because they just were not going to produce a strawberry. That's all they are to it. I've pretty much combined all my compost piles and it just keeps shrinking down there. We have a cat encounter going on right there. Susie's everybody's friend. Carly could care less. Let's see what happens. Okay guys, do something. She's just not real big on other cats. Okay, it's been 2 years since I last ran a contest out here in the garden, which of course was my okra contest on Guess the Pounds of Okra. This time it's going to be guess the number of tomatoes that I actually pick off of my tomato plants and take to the house. If one's rotten or something, I pick it off and just throw it in the compost pile or something. That won't count. But the actual number that I pick and think enough of to take to the house. So yep, the deadline on this will be August the 1st. I may pick tomatoes and mention that I picked tomatoes before then, but I won't give any updates. August the 1st will be the deadline to leave a comment on this particular video, and August 1st or thereafter will be when I start reporting my number of tomatoes that I've got, and I'll do a running update every few days. When I pick tomatoes, I'll put it in the description of this. I'll update the description of this video. So yeah, 1 entry per person. You know, if you got multiple accounts, still just 1 entry per person is all. I don't want to take advantage of these people who just got 1 account. Okay, so yep, August 1st deadline, the number of tomatoes that I think enough of to take to the house. Prizes, just as crappy as ever. Second prize, I'll feature a video of your choice for 1 week on my homepage. First prize, I'll feature a video of your choice for 2 weeks on my homepage. If you want 2 separate videos, you know, 1 week each time, that'll be okay too. So, yep, total number of tomatoes that I pick off of my plants that I actually take to the house. Yeah, it sounds like a decent contest. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of them off of this plant right here. Just tons of them. Of course, the other plants, not as many, but a lot of them off of that plant there anyway. Okay, bye everybody.